Hello YouTube and welcome to Bubble Hearthing. I'm ShadowBlue13 and I am going to go through my top 10 cards plus 5 honorable mentions, kind of like a top 15 list, oh well, of the Boomsday Project cards. Oh my goodness. So excited for this new set coming out. I'm going to have a pack opening. I'm going to have like over 150 packs to open because I bought the two things and I got a few gold saved up. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get into it. We have the 2-mana Warrior Weapons Project. Again, honorable mentions at the bottom here, so I'll let you know when we get into the real top 10. Ooh, fancy. Each player equips a 2/3 weapon and gains 6 armor. Really nice card there for Warrior. You can use that, a big combo is that with Harrison. If you play that, one turn after the other, or even together, then you get some nice card draw there, and you get your weapon. Otherwise, you can use it to destroy your opponent's weapon, which Skull of the Minari comes to mind, even though Skull Warlock has kind of fallen out of favor. But if any weapon is good, then this is going to be great in Warrior. It's already pretty good. Additionally, if you're playing Control Warrior, and your opponent's kind of more aggressive, you play this, you probably don't play a whole lot of weak minions, or like low-cost minions. So they might just go for your face. That's why you have the 6 armor. You kill their minions. Hey, sounds like a win to me. Next up, we have Crystology. Oh, geez, this card is very interesting. So, 2 mana, draw 2 1-attack minions from your deck. 2 2s and 1s. Notably, of course, it's 1 attack, not 1 cost. There was that old one that gave you 1 cost minions. I was like, well, it's not really accomplishing too much. So, what do we do with this? Well, notable things you can draw include the Dragulch Jailer. If you're playing Even Paladin, that could be useful to you. You can also just get Righteous Protectors. They're good all-around Paladin cards. You can get Glowtron, which is great if you're going to, magnetize something. Just a nice little guy to get there. I mean, dropping a couple 1/3 bodies isn't really bad if you stick around. You can get a couple of Murlocs. Notably, the Grimskull Oracle has 1 attack, and it gives all the other Murlocs plus 1 attack, so that could be nice if you're doing some kind of Murloc Paladin. I don't see it happening, but we're just going through a few things that are interesting that came up, as well as the Murloc Tidecaller, the one that spawns a little dude when you play him. So, not too bad for Murlocs. If Murlocs actually see some play, I don't think they will, but if they do, then this will be a go-to. Additionally, you could get Tar Creepers. If it was a 2 mana, draw 2 Tar Creepers from your deck, which cost 3, so you curve out super well. Oh yeah, that sees so much play. It'd be fantastic. So I definitely think that could be a combo. And I put down Voodoo Doll just when I was going over removal. Paladins don't really have a great way to utilize Voodoo Doll right now, but just something to make note of. After that, we have the Eternium Rover. So he's the back to Warrior again. 1 mana, 1/3, a mech. Whenever this minion takes damage, gain 2 armor. That's pretty nice. I don't see it replacing your Armor Smith at all, but as a 1 mana card, you drop this down every single time. You could even play this in control decks to try to sort of get a better chance against aggro decks in the early game if you get it. It's not really great to get it later. And I wouldn't even necessarily have to put this in a mech deck. Even though it has mech, that's just a bonus, I believe. Because I don't think that EMP thing is going to be seeing too much play, and even if it is, they're probably not going to blow up this guy. There's probably better targets. But he's super nice, stats are solid, he can stick around if you are playing mechs to magnetize, really nice. Alright, beyond that we have the Mulch Muncher. 10 mana, 8/8, rush, costs 1 less for each friendly treant that died this game. I don't think treants are going to be a huge thing, but if they are, kind of hedging my bet a little bit here, then I'm going to include this thing. Because if this gets down to 0, 1, 2, 3 mana, hell, even 4 mana, if you drop 2 8/8s on turn 8, they happen to have rush, so maybe they remove a couple threats. Or they're just there. Okay, they survive the turn. Maybe not. They probably do. Now you have 8/8s that can go face, right? For this whole time, I always see rush, and I first think, okay, cannot attack opponent's face. But it's only for 1 turn. So nothing wrong with that. Notable combo with this, if you've had at least 9 treants die in your game, so this costs 1 or less, 1 or 0, that would be the less part, you could play both of these guys. And you can play your Gloop Sprayer. 3-card combo. Nothing wrong with that. You get 4 8/8 charges. That's really hard to kill unless you have a full board wipe, like Twisting Nether, Pyro Equality, Psychic Scream, I guess could also work too, but you get the idea. That's a super scary board. Even if you do trade with a few creatures, you still have some left. You're not that far behind, are you? I really hope not. Enough about Mulch Muncher. That's what I think about it. Alright, the last of the honorable mentions is Test Subject. So, that's a 1 mana 0/2. Death Rattle, return any spells cast in this minion to your hand. we all probably know. If not, then here. You can use it with the combo with Topsy Turvy and Vivid Nightmare and Inner Fire and Divine Spirit, and you play a bunch of things with Radiant Elementals, and then once that's all done, you end up getting more Divine Spirits out of the things, then you play them on a Stone Tusk board, then you switch the Stone Tusk board stats, then you punch them in the face. Ta-da! You actually don't even need Inner Fire for that combo, because you Topsy Turvy to get the attack boost. But I will see this being run in pretty much any deck, any priest deck that has the Divine Spirit inner combo deck, even if it's not specifically that one with the boar. It could just be the regular old one, and I think it's going to go in there. It's not super great. Outside of that, it has really no applications. So that's why I'm putting it as an honorable mention, because it's super specific to the deck. And if that deck takes off, then hey, more power to you. All right, now, number 10. So you can keep track because the number's right up here. Is Bomb Toss, the 2-mana Hunter spell. Deal 2 damage, summon a 0/2 Goblin Bomb. I love Goblin Bombs, except when you put them in your deck during deck construction. Don't do that, but this seems really nice. If this said deal 2 damage to a minion, summon a 0/2 Goblin Bomb, I would not like it at all. But the fact that it can go face, because the Goblin Bomb goes face, and then, well, the Death Rattle goes face, and then you trigger the Death Rattle with your other dude that happens to buff it up a little bit, so you can get an extra Death Rattle out of it. Oh my goodness. This card just seems like a lot of fun. Maybe I'm just putting it here because of the fun value, but it's my list, so hey. Next up, Topsy Turvy is number 9. This is 0 mana. Anything that costs 0 mana should be looked at, should be given some attention. 0 mana spell, self minions attack, and health. So that's nice. Of course, you think about, okay, the test subject deck, or any kind of Divine Spirit Inner Fire deck. You can also use it to flip a Doomsayer, or a Flame Tongue Totem, or Manatide Totem, just to kill them immediately. That's not too bad. You can use it to flip a Void Lord if you have a 3/9 with taunt there that you're trying to get through. Granted, it spawns a little dudes, but still, if you're trying to kill it, well, you flip it around. Now it's a 9/3 with taunt. Much easier to get through. Yeah, your minions are probably going to die, but maybe they were all going to die anyway. Maybe they're not so valuable. And there's a few other cases where this is just pretty good. Obviously, you can use this with Lyra to continue cycling, so I think it improves Lyra a little bit because you get more spells going. And if you want to try a Dragon Soul deck, go ahead, throw it in there, give it a shot. Number 8 is Biology Project, the Druid Project. It costs 1 mana, and it gives you 2 mana, which is a net of 1 mana in the background. So, of course, it goes for your opponent as well. Symmetrical effects there. But usually Druid can make more use of their mana than the opponent can, and just ramp more in general. Even if you just do this and they both get, like, you and your opponent get ramped up a little more, you're going to get more reliably to your ramp further on. You're going to be able to cast that, what the heck is it called? I don't know. The one that gives the, not Naturalize. Oh, boy. I can't think of it, but the one that gives you 2 extra mana crystals, or you draw 3 cards. Has little hands on it. It's like, ooh. You're going to be able to Nourish. You're going to be able to play that a little bit earlier. And then you're going to be ahead again. You're going to be able to play this turn 1 instead of trying to coin out a Wild Growth or just waiting until turn 2. And in the worst case, it is an Innervate, which already sees some play. So this is a great card. Next up, staying in Druid, is Phlebidinous Floop. 4 mana, 3/4, while in your hand. This is a 3/4 copy of the last minion you played. Make sure it's in your hand when you play whatever minion you want to copy, because if it's not in your hand and you draw it from your deck later, it's not going to have that imprinted on it. So very important there. Now, what are we going to do with this thing? Well, the first thing that comes to mind, obviously, is Malygos Druid. You play the Malygos. If it survives, well, you just won the game. If it dies, you play Floop. And then maybe you Taldaram, or you can Faceless it if you want to. And then you win the game, right? Let's see. Beyond that, you could use it in Hadronox Druid. You play that thing. If they transform your Hadronox into, like, a sheep or a frog or something else that you probably can't transform it into, you can play Floop to have your backup plane right there. So you're not just screwed, basically. Because for some reason you played your Hadronox and didn't kill it immediately. I don't know why I did that. So that is pretty good that way. He has a lot of potential. I think Floop is a great card. Number 6 is Omega Assembly, another great card, oh my word. So there's a few cards that are already out. Let's see 0 play. That said, 1 mana, discover a discover a keyword, or discover a thing. There's, discover a Death Rattle for Rogue. That was a Journey Below. There is Blazing Invocation for Shaman, discover a Battle Cry. There was I Know a Guy for Warrior. This is also for Warrior, though. Discover a Taunt. The key thing where this comes in I would never play this if I didn't have 10 mana, unless I could either present lethal on the board right there, or if I had to save myself from another lethal situation. Because once you have 10 mana and you play this, you keep all 3 cards. It's a 1 mana, get 3 cards, nets you 2, which is great, of course, in Warrior. Sometimes you're playing control. That's one of the things they're really good at. And this just helps you in the late game. Instead of drawing cards and fatiguing more, you generate cards out of the ether, basically. Super nice card. And it goes really well with Dr. Boom Mad Genius, too, which is a little higher up. Number 3 is Electra Storm Surge. Oh my goodness. You know, I have a thing for Sharded Walk decks. I actually like them quite a bit. And this is a perfect fit in there. You're just going to weasel it in there somewhere. And oh, beautiful card. Probably just going to take out like one of my mind control techs and throw this girl in there. I guess it says Electra. It's usually a female's name. But, you know, an elemental. Whatever. 3 mana, 3/3. We don't care about the stats at all. I mean, we care about the 3 mana because you can't put it in even Shaman now, which is pretty good, because if you could, it'd be kind of gross in the sense that you could play, and here's the list of spells you can get a huge bonus of. You could double Bloodlust. Huge board thingy. Double Volcano, as well as double Lightning Storm is pretty much, 2 big board clears. I believe you'll get double Overloaded as well, but not a big deal. You can do double Lava Burst, hit them in the face 2 times with 1 Lava Burst. That's a lot of damage. That's Pyroblast damage, but out of 2 cards, but cheaper. And you still have the other one to follow up. Really nice there. You can double Spellstone if you're playing a Spellstone deck to make more copies, which is worth noting. You can double Healing Rain and heal for 24, which is going to be fantastic. It's a great thing. They're already running Healing Rain. Might as well just get more healing. And one of them that maybe people don't think about as much, you can double Farsight. You play this, you play Farsight, then you get 2 cards from your deck that each have their mana cost reduced by 3. That sounds really nice. They immediately replace like their own value. You played 2 cards to get 2 cards, but the mana reduction is like super fantastic. Amazing card, Electra. Really well done. Employee of the month for sure. Number 4 is Ziliax, the 5 mana 3/2, the big mech that everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna put Ziliax on this and this and this, and this is good if Ziliax is involved. It has Magnetic, it has Divine Shield, it has Taunt, it has Lifesteal, it has Rush. I'm out of fingers. That's okay, because I have this hand as well, but that only has 5 things. That is super nice. So Alakir doesn't really see too much play outside of Even Shaman. However, this has the other thing. This has Lifesteal going for it, which is super nice there. So instead of just having a taunt thing that's annoying to get through, it's a taunt thing that heals you when your opponent tries to punch their way through it. And because it has Magnetic, it's not always just going to heal you for 3 or 6. You can put it on a big guy, and then the big guy heals you for bigger amounts. So you can be healing for like, 5 or 10 or 13, or somehow it gets to 13. I don't know how I got to 13, but you can heal for larger amounts, and it's going to be super obnoxious. I can see boards completely swing around like, oh, and the game has turned because Ziliax has been top decked, and now so-and-so is Reynad is salty again. I don't know. Number 3, Giggling Inventor. So, as you can see, I got a little laugh there. Oh my goodness. 5 mana, 2/1. Stats, terrible. Battlecry, nice. Summon 2 1/2 mechs with Taunt and Divine Shield. So you summon 2 Annoyatrons. And the fact that you get a little 2/1 body just kind of rounds it out a little bit. Like if it was a 5 mana spell, summon 2 1/2 Annoyatrons, like summon 2 Annoyatrons, it might still see play, to be honest. You get a body, this is a little bonus there. So basically, I'm going to compare this slightly. I'm going to put this within the same league as Sludge Belcher. I know it's a very bold claim, but you get 2 guys that both have Divine Shield and Taunt, and they don't have 1 health at the end. So you can't just, ping, 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 ping. Sure, you can throw a few Warpaths away and then you get rid of it, but I think they're super good. They're going to be great in pretty much any control deck. If you're running a controlling, controlling Druid, this goes in there. If you're running a Warrior, this pretty much just goes in there, and you get mechs, so you can mech with the Warrior. Alright, almost done here. On to number 2. And number 2, talking about Warrior, Dr. Boom, the Mad Genius. So, 7 mana, it's a hero card. 7 mana, gain 7 armor, and Battlecry for the rest of the game. Your mechs have Rush. That effect is nice. It's a little cherry on top, but it is not the main point of this card. The main point is that you get the hero power changed. And also, the 7 armor probably can save you from, a few situations. I like that it's 7, like 7 mana, 7, and then, you know, of course, Dr. Boom, back when the game came out. Oh, back when Goblins vs. Gnomes came out, was the 7 mana, 7/7. So they're going back to that, which is a nice little homage. But, so your hero powers are either summon 3 1/1 microbots, and naturally, of course, they have Rush, because guy gave you Rush. You summon that, or you can just deal 3 damage, or you deal 1 damage to everything your opponent controls, or you can gain 7 armor, and there's one more. Discover a mech. So those are all really good. They're good for the late game. They're good, you know, to stall out. They're good to take care of a few of your opponent's minions. All of them are really strong. So, unfortunately, there's a random element to it, but I think this is going to see play in so many control warlocks, and it's going to be pretty strong. All right, and now, for number 1, the moment hopefully you've all been waiting for. I mean, if you're seeing this, then you probably have. Numero uno, and the click on the mouse. Mechathoon! Okay, so I know it's kind of silly, but look. 10 mana, 10/10. All you have to do is kill it with no cards in your deck, your hand, and the battlefield, and you win the game. That's all you have to do. It sounds bad, but you can get it with Floop, and, you know, make it a lot easier. It's really easy to do in Druid and Warlock, and I'm joking, the actual number 1 card is the Solarium! Yes, okay, this deserves the number 1 spot. Mechathoon's kind of, I don't know. Watch me regret that later on. It's like, you should have just stuck with Mechathoon, tier 1. No. Not yet. Draw 3 cards for 1 mana. At the end of your turn, discard them. Oh my goodness. So the first deck that I really, really fell in love with was Zulok, and I'm going back to it immediately now. Because, holy crap, this card is amazing. 1 mana, draw 3? Really? That's crazy. I'm not even, like, acknowledging the fact that it says discard them. That's not even part of my thinking. You're, okay, 1 mana, draw 3. And you play the 3, and that's it. Sure, you might not want to play, like, oh, I really don't want to play this, you know, Soulfire. Then you'll put in Soulfire. Okay, it's not really super great in that sense. And you don't put in cards that are really overly expensive. Obviously, you can't really run this in Gul'dan of the risk that you just draw it, and you have to discard it, and then you lose the game. But in a Zoo deck, very specifically, a Zoo deck that does not run Gul'dan, because most of them don't, this card is just absolutely insane. If I don't get one of these from the pack openings, I'm going to craft a golden one. I'm going to make a Zoo deck, and I might cry later on if it starts to be bad, but it's not going to be bad. It's going to be great. Okay, thank you very much. That is the top 10. I promise there's no more little jokes around here. That Mechathoon was just, you know, there to be a little silly. Thank you very much for joining me on Bubble Hearthing. Once again, I'm ShadowBlue13. Please stay tuned for the pack opening video. Again, over 150. It's actually just going to be 157, but if you say over 150, it's kind of clickbaity and kind of gets people thinking, ooh, bigger number. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Depending on what time it is for you, good morning, or good night, and good luck.